Forest resources and their contribution to global carbon cycles. Forests cover 35% of Europe's total land area. Forest area has increased by 9% since 1990, although the rate of expansion is slowing down. 46% of European forests are predominantly coniferous, 37% are predominantly broadleaved, and the rest are mixed. A quarter of European forests are uneven aged. Growing stock, that is the volume of wood of living trees, has increased by 50% since 1990, although this trend is slowing down. European forests are a major carbon sink. Carbon stock increases in forests. Between 2010 and 2020, the average annual sequestration of carbon in forest biomass reached 155 million tons in the European region. Forest ecosystem health and vitality. Deposition of air pollution has been continuously decreasing since 1997. However, thresholds for potential adverse effects on forests are still exceeded at many plots. The condition of European forests is apparently deteriorating, with increasing mean defoliation of the main tree species. About 3% of European forests are damaged mainly by wind, insects, ungulate browsing, and forest fires. Productive functions of forests. Every year, more wood grows than is harvested in European forests, leading to the accumulation of growing stock in forests. Moreover, net annual wood increment is higher than in earlier periods. Since 1990, it has increased by approximately 25%. Europe is an important roundwood production region. Roundwood production has been growing, thus reducing import from other parts of the world. European forests and other wooded land are an important source of non-wood goods such as food and materials. These goods are a source of additional income from forests. Services such as hunting and fishing licenses predominate among marketed services of forest ecosystems. Still, potential of forest services and their market realization remains underdeveloped. Biological diversity in forest ecosystems. European forests are steadily becoming more diverse in tree species composition. Stands composed of 2 or more tree species occupy 67% of the forest area. 66% of the total forest area in Europe was regenerated naturally or result from natural expansion, and the share of these forms of establishment is slightly increasing. Introduced tree species are used quite marginally in European forestry, covering 3.1% of the total forest area. Deadwood provides microhabitats for many animal, fungi, and plant species. It is also an important part of the forest carbon pool and of nutrient cycles. Over the past 20 years, the area of forest designated for biodiversity conservation increased by about 65%. Protected forests account for almost a quarter of the total forest area. The number of genetic conservation units has increased about 10 times since 1990. Protective functions in forest management, notably soil and water. Protective forests designated for prevention of soil erosion, preservation of water resources, and maintenance of other ecosystem services represent about 32% of Europe's forest area. Socioeconomic functions and conditions. In the majority of countries, more than 90% of forests are accessible to the public, with the average around 70%. About 6% of forests are primarily designated or managed for public recreation. Forest area in public and private ownership is roughly balanced in Europe. The relatively low net revenue of forest enterprises poses a risk for forest management, especially in the environment of volatile markets. Forestry and forest sector provide job opportunities and livelihoods, especially in rural areas. Nevertheless, number of workers is remarkably decreasing. Europe is a net exporter of primary wood and paper products. European trade surplus was more than 5 billion euros. In average, about 1.1 cubic meters of wood is consumed annually per capita in Europe. Wood is one of the renewable sources of energy, covering 6.4% of total primary energy supply in Europe.